Hey, Scoop Empire. Come in. Come see my first solo exhibition, Cairo the Culture. These big marble pieces I did. Tried to use the quality of the marble and maintain the integrity of it while adding my touch, my Cairo vibes to it. And actually this piece was inspired by this rug house in the jungle, which talks about how we come in and overpower wildlife and think we can do better. This was actually made especially for this exhibition, and it's called The Critic. And it talks about sometimes how we can be overly critical of ourselves. This one's called Argumentative. And it's about overly argumentative people. In this case, overly argumentative women. The feminist movement has made for a lot of argumentative women in this day and age.
Where's the woman?
Right there. This one's called Capoeira Brothers. And it's about the dance, fighting, the dance. I actually call my painting the dance because when I'm painting, I'm dancing.
You dance when you paint?
No, but I paint when I dance.
Yeah.
This one is not for sale because it's not signed right. It's called Cairo Glitch. And this piece is basically about, it was meant to be glitchy. And in signing my name the wrong way, it was a continuation of the glitch, not for sale. These are some of my most prized possessions, my sketches. They were placed here to give you an insight into how my brain works or how I think about things.
How's that? What does it say?
It says we all eat shit in life. This one is called Scream. And Scream was maybe made at a time where I wanted to scream but couldn't because I had to focus on moving forward with my life. This is Crook. And Crook talks about a time in my life where I was pursuing maybe some business endeavors with someone who was a crook. And I seem to have painted this when I was over that point in my life. So this is a common theme you see through my paintings, is that I'm usually trying to deal or say things to myself out loud indirectly that I've not been able to face. And so when I paint things and I find out what they mean, it usually means I'm over that phase in my life. Together talks about a love story that was destined to end. These pieces were made keeping in my consciousness the idea that if they were ever sold separately, would they ever find their way back together again? And hence the name Together. And on the back of this one, it says the irony of forever when the end is destined. This one says, the irony of together when the end is destined. Together, but now he is alone. I think he, in this case, was probably me. And I don't tend to realize this until long after I've made these paintings. So this actually was inspired by what you were talking about earlier. So yeah, we were partying at a friend's house and they had these glass panels that everyone was bumping into because they weren't seeing them. They're like, hey, Cairo, can you paint on these? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll paint on these. So I painted on them and they looked great. But what looked great about them was the reflections on mirrors and other glass windows. So I wanted to play with those reflections and then add the added element of the shadows to it and see how the whole three-dimensional aspect would play together. So this one was an Aztec pot, and there was actually a painting called Bombastic that was made to protect these pots. We couldn't display it. And these are all one-of-one pots I made for my own self, for my own home. And people have been nagging me to sell them. So for once in my life, I listened to people and I allowed for other people to enjoy them the way I got to enjoy these in my own home for the last couple of years.